Like another genre kind of like this is adult contemporary, right? Clearly a lot of people like that kind of music, but the most popular artist in that genre came out a long time ago. You know, Phil Collins, what's his name?
6.5 hours later. 3 days later.
You know, Phil Collins, Michael Bolton, Celine Dion. These artists where they had their biggest hits not recently. Hello everyone, you are watching the Beats Save the World YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about an article that I found, and it's a fairly old article. It came out in January of 2021, but I think it sparked a lot of good discussion that we could possibly have. So this is an article detailing the most popular genres of music. But the interesting part about this is that, of course, R&B and hip-hop are number one. I mean, we all knew that. But I think what's more interesting is that rock is number two. And what's really interesting, it's not just like physical album sales, because you might think, well, yeah, I mean, but rock, that's just selling CDs and stuff. No, it's not just that. So according to this article, this is musicbusinessworldwide.com. In terms of on-demand audio streams, rock is actually still number two. So rock has 16.3% of on-demand audio streams. Pop is the next runner-up and has 13.1%. The only genre that beats rock is R&B and hip-hop, which are listed as a single genre in this article, and that genre accounts for 30.7% of online on-demand audio streams. So why do I find this so interesting? Well, here's the thing. So rock is number two in terms of streams, but if you go on the Billboard 100, where are the new rock bands, you know? So if this genre is number two even in terms of streaming, why do we see so many, you know, new bands in other genres compared to rock? Like we might see like, you know, country artists there more frequently, electronic artists, even though rock is apparently number two. So where are all the rock bands? Like this genre is apparently doing so well. This is a phenomenon that I find very interesting. And to me, it's the phenomenon of what happens when you have a genre that's been around for so long that all the new artists in some ways have to compete against the older artists. And that's what I really think is happening here. Because, so when we see that, you know, rock is getting a crazy number of streams compared to pretty much any genre except for R&B and hip hop, the bands that are getting those streams are not new bands, okay? So like on Spotify, if you look up Queen, okay? Queen is getting a ridiculous number of streams. I think it's something like 30 million streams a month, okay? Like Queen is getting as many streams as like current pop stars. Like not like Dua Lipa, but you know, pop stars like Ava Max, for example, or like Lady Gaga or like Katy Perry. I mean, I guess Katy Perry hasn't released like a really popular album in a while, but the point is these old bands that were like really popular in the 70s and 80s and 60s, they're still so relevant today. And it's kind of like if you want to be a new rock artist, you have to kind of convince rock fans to listen to you instead of listening to those old bands. And I think one of the reasons why hip hop and R&B is such a awesome genre to get into right now, and why, you know, it's relatively easier to become a big R&B or hip hop artist, is because you don't have competition from the 60s. You know, there's no like massive, you know, rap or hip hop artist from like 1969 that all of the hip hop fans are listening to, and then you have to draw them away for that. But if you're a rock musician, and like especially if you make rock that sounds a lot like classic rock, like if you're, you know, making music kind of like Greta Van Fleet, right? Greta Van Fleet is a band that's kind of known for sounding like Led Zeppelin. The problem is, if you make that kind of music, how do you convince rock fans to listen to you instead of AC/DC, instead of The Who, instead of Led Zeppelin? These bands that still get tens of millions of streams every single month. I honestly think that we could benefit from some more metrics when we're tracking a genre's popularity. So currently, if we're looking at how popular is pop or rock or country, we go by total streaming numbers, total CD sales, and that's all well and good. What I think would be a really interesting metric that these articles could start using is how many sales are and how many streams are coming from new bands. Like, that would be such a cool index. Imagine if we had like the index by genre of like streams by artists who started in the last 10 years, right? That would be so cool, because then we can really see not just like the genre's popularity overall, but kind of the accessibility for musicians getting into a genre. Like, another genre kind of like this is adult contemporary, right? Clearly a lot of people like that kind of music, but the most popular artists in that genre came out a long time ago. You know, Phil Collins, Michael Bolton, Celine Dion. These artists where they had their biggest hits not recently. So what I really want to see in the future is an index of like most popular genres by only bands that have started in the last 10 years. And if we did that, rock would not be number 2, you know. Definitely still number 1 would be R&B, hip hop, but the genres lower on the list. I think country would be a lot higher because we've seen kind of some popularity of that in recent years. It would give us a clear indication of kind of the future of a genre, because for a genre's longevity, you don't want to be completely dependent on the bands in the past. You know, you want to be nurturing new talent to eventually replace them so that you can kind of keep the genre going. That's really all I wanted to say. I just thought it was kind of an interesting point. Let me know in the comments what you think of this, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a good day.